and welcome to another super cool episode of Elev8. Tonight we got Boro Mojo, and holy mackerels, his work is fire, clean, and overall the guy is just an amazing guy and his work is amazing. One real quick thing I want to throw out there is we are looking for some brand ambassadors. We have Elev8 dolls. It's an amazing thing, putting smiles on people's faces, helping to build Elev8, and you get to earn credits and money and stuff like that. So anyways, let's roll into this interview with Boro Mojo, because I am excited. What up, y'all? I'm really happy here today. We got Boro Mojo Mitchell here, and thanks a lot for joining Elev8.
Totally my pleasure, man. Thanks for having me.
Hell yeah. So the first thing, when did you start blowing glass?
I started blowing glass in September of 2001.
Right on, man. And how did you get into blowing glass? That's always the story I love.
Well, I mean, it's slightly morbid, to be honest with you, because like I was going to tech school, and then 9/11 happened, and you know, everything was just kind of crazy. Everybody like I don't know if you want to call it like an existential crisis or what, but you know, everyone was just kind of thinking about their lives and stuff when that happened. And the day that happened, I just kind of, you know, walked out of school and I was just taking it all in. And I met up with some friends, one of them who was doing a little bit of glass blowing. You know, he was playing around with it a little bit. And I don't know, I guess we were just kind of all bummed out and just sort of taking in the events of the day. And one thing led to another, and the guy just kind of asked me if maybe I'd want to come blow some glass with him. And I said yes. And it's pretty much kind of like the end of the story from there. I mean, it just kind of took off, and that's how we ended up where we're at today.
Well, that day for sure was a ever world changing day. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah. I mean, it was wild. It was wild.
And it definitely just completely, it sounds like it. And what were you going to school for as a trade person? Like, because that's a complete turnaround for you.
I was just filling prerequisite classes from high school that I had to finish up to move on to my next phase in life. I wasn't a good student. I was a bad student, so I was always screwing off, skipping school. Graduated by the skin of my teeth type of situation. So when I was in school at that time, I was just playing catch up, getting ready to actually figure out what I was going to do with my life.
Right on. That's neat, man. What items did you start out blowing? Pipes, pendants?
Yeah, I think it as a lot of people in my neck of the woods did, we started with like mushroom pendants because they're really easy. So, you know, I mean, your teacher would have you start slamming together mushroom pendants. And if any of them turned out really good, maybe they would take them and put them on their pipes. Or, you know, you could always sell them like in groups of like 20, 30, 40 for, you know, just a couple bucks a piece to the stores. And, you know, you were just happy to get any cash. So,
yeah.
Started with mushroom pendants, and then, you know, like clear silver fumed pipes, little Christmas ornaments, just like really any little knick-knacky thing we could crank out and try to turn a buck on.
Hell yeah. So silver fuming, I you know, see today you're still in the fuming game. You love that stuff.
Yes, sir.
So obviously you were bit by the silver bug. And when did you start really falling in love with the fuming process, gold and silver?
So funny enough, I think it just kind of happened out of brokenness. Like, because I was living in Colorado, I had, you know, I got a couple of kids and stuff, and when we moved out there around 2013 from Wisconsin, it was a major scene change, especially financially with like rent and just, you know, groceries and living and stuff. So, you know, even though I'd been blowing glass for several years, when I got out to Colorado, it was just a game changer. It was like, holy shit, man, you gotta make a lot of money out here or die. And one of the first things that, I mean, I always had a good like fume skill set from, you know, my earlier days. And just one thing I kind of told myself after my first year there was I'm always just going to kind of keep that going because, you can run out of color really fast, man. I mean, color's expensive. It's just really easy to tear through that stuff. But if you've got a gold coin and a silver coin, shit, man, that could be 2 or 3 years of work. You know, if you know how to spread that stuff out. So really, a lot of the fume stuff, it started out of just brokenness, and then eventually I started to learn a little bit about the alchemy just through, you know, guess and check. I was, you know, kind of like, oh man, if I lay this much silver on and a little bit of gold, I get purple. And that's pretty cool. And if I just use, you know, light flames and silver alone, I get blue, and that's pretty cool. And that's stuff that in the first, you know, like 12 years of my career, I never even attempted to find colors out of fume. It just kind of was, sorry, I got a guy at my front door.
That's all right. We'll cut this out.
I'm sorry, I'm in a meeting. Give me a moment.
If you want to help him out, man.
I think he's just got some random guy's package from the street. It's not. Okay. It's not like that. It's I don't know what it is.
All right, cool.
He's just watching me talk to nobody in the window, and he's wondering why the hell I won't talk to him.
Because you're talking.
But yeah, man. So like I said, I started to figure out the alchemy of it a little bit, and I started to figure out if you mix this with that, it turns different colors. And we didn't know about that stuff in the beginning. In the beginning, it was 2 things. It was you mix gold and silver together and you get green. Yeah. And that's kind of like, I don't want to say that green is undesirable because it's, you know, people still love it. It's all over the place. But like, it's not exactly fun or interesting. Like you can get that color really easy. I could teach someone to get that green in a matter of seconds. But then, you know, getting those bright blues and stuff like that, that's a trick, you know, that takes some work. And after I started to figure out that you can get these different colors, I decided I just wanted to really take this to another level and get really good at this.
Hell yeah. And you have. That's awesome, man.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I love fume. It's been there since the beginning. It's timeless. And I always love, you know, looking at fume. I get stuck in it. It's cool. So
yeah, it's old school. It's definitely old school. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Holy shit. Oh man.
That's all right. Do you have any specific items that you cherish from your career as a blower that you still have to this day?
Let me see here. You know, I really don't. It's kind of it's funny. I'm trying to hold the phone up to show this guy what I'm doing because he's like the neighborhood that I operate out of. It's a bit of a down and out neighborhood. We've got a lot of homeless kind of wandering around here and like drug addicts and shit and drunks. So like
sounds like my shop.
People just kind of stop at the window and yell in and wander in. So I just got an interested guy out there wondering what's going on. He's moved on now though. Yeah, sorry about that. Sorry about the distraction. Right. I think we're in the clear now. Actually, I'm gonna do a switch and just put my back to that area. There we go. All right. Now I can't even see anyone, so it'll look a little more normal. But no, man, I don't really have any sentimental stuff from the beginning. There's some things I wish I would have kept and some things I wish I would have maybe held on to. But I've just never really been like a sentimental type of person. Even
you got it up here. You got it.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll put long story short. I wish I would have documented a lot of my earlier stuff better. A really good buddy of mine, Moo Glass, who operates out of Fort Collins, not too far away from you guys. His like whole entire Instagram is like a dedication to like the beginning of his career and his progression. And he never deleted like his old photos from when he like sort of sucked a little bit, you know, and so you get to like watch him get really good on there. And I was like, man, I wish I would have done something like that. You know, that's pretty cool, you know, but,
and it was harder back then, you know, when you started as well, we didn't have camera phones.
No, we did not.
Easy. So it was hard to document. You had to be a photographer or be like that. It wasn't just so easy. Pop, pop, pop. So.
No, true. That's definitely a true story. But yeah, no, I never did keep much stuff from the beginning years. Just the knowledge, I guess.
And that's the most important, though. Did you have a mentor while you were starting blowing glass?
You know, I did. I had a couple of guys. Paul Brem from Fat Bottom Glass, and he had a partner, Adam Fuller, who was they were the guys that kind of, you know, brought me into the game and showed me a few of the beginning steps. I was a really hard-headed youngster back then, so I wasn't, you know, it just wasn't easy to get along with, and you know, I kind of took, you know, some of the stuff they were showing me a little bit for granted, and I was, you know, just living wild and stuff like that. So we ended up parting ways relatively soon into our meeting up. But without the basics they showed me, you know, I don't know that I would have made it anywhere. I mean, they were definitely important, and we lost touch over the years, and then got back in touch over the years. You know, kind of one of those things, and. Love them every time I see them, and yeah, I mean, in a way, I guess you could call those guys mentors. But ironically enough, like now, it's actually like less skilled, newer guys that are like actually even more mentors now than even like older, advanced ones.
Well, they push the button like, how could this guy get it? So then, you know, as an older blower, you're like, I got to do that too, and it pushes pressure. So I think that's good.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we used to think there was all these rules and like all these steps you had to make these shitty little pipes in the beginning, and then, you know, after a while maybe you could move on to bubblers, and then maybe after you got good at that you could move on to something with, you know, some expensive color or something. We always used to think there was like these baby steps that you had to take to get good. And now these younger guys are proving that that's bullshit. You can just dive in and start, you know, building technical stuff right off the bat. And yeah, you're going to trash a lot of shit, but, you know, a few years of trashing shit, you get good at it. And so now there's a lot of young guys out there that just, you know, I constantly strategize with and talk with, just because, you know, they're just breaking all those molds and, you know, just diving right in, and I think it's great.
Yeah, I agree. I think maybe the YouTube videos has helped with that, as well as, you know, when you started or I started, the knowledge was a lot lower. They didn't have the videos. It was more secret. So now there's people more freely helping these younger people to advance their skills so much quicker. And it's just so much information is being shared out, whether it's personal or through YouTube. And so we can all grow quicker.
It is. Yeah. I mean, I wasn't like the biggest fan of all that in the beginning, because, you know, you want to like protect your trade, and, you know, you kind of want to keep some of these things secret. At the same time, you know, I've come to realize the error in that way of thinking, you know, because I myself have benefited greatly from the free flowing information. Absolutely. And you know, so it's like, I mean, it's great, man. I think it's great. Yeah, I love it.
Me too. I'm right there with you. What classes, if any, have you taken, and do you feel they helped advance your career, and do you recommend that?
Yeah, definitely. Shit, man. You know, I can't recommend classes enough. One of the biggest mistakes I probably made in the first, you know, 10, 15 years of my career was just not taking more classes. I don't know why I didn't, go out there and seek to learn more from other people. It might be like, you know, when I lived in like, all right, so in the Midwest here where I'm located right now, we just like, I don't want to speak for every area of the Midwest, but my area of the Midwest, we didn't play nice with each other. Like we didn't help each other out. We, you can almost say we were just downright mean to each other. We wanted each other to fail, and we never, you just kept everything private and secretive, and you just kind of went about things that way. And then when I got out to Colorado for a few years, it was just like the opposite. Everybody was just sharing and helping and all that, stuff. So it was just crazy to see everyone helping each other out and getting better and stuff like that. So what was the original question? I think I just trailed off there.
The classes.
The classes. So anyway, yeah, like once I got out west and I realized, everyone was sharing information and stuff like that, and these classes were out there, I started taking a few, and man, they just blew my mind. Shit, I'm trying to think of a few. I took it was an online class in Colorado, but I took an elbow one. That one was awesome. I mean, the way I do like the eyes on my dragons and stuff, I still copy it exactly how I learned it from that elbow class, because the way he did his eyelids and stuff was just so brilliant to me. It made it so easy that I was just like, fuck, this is amazing. And let me see here. I took a Lammy class. He's a really well-known fumer out of Oregon, I believe. Showed me some cool techniques. I was just about to take a Joe Peters class, actually, like literally in the next couple of days, but I guess he got injured or fell ill or something and wasn't able to make it out. So I was really looking forward to that one here in a couple of days. I was amped, but the man's got to heal. So hopefully that one will be. Hopefully that one will be back on the schedule at a later date. But yeah,
take
classes,
them classes.
I can't recommend them enough. Take classes, learn from people. Definitely. I mean, it's worth it. Even when you go to a class to specifically learn a certain technique, you'll walk away with something else that didn't even have to do with that technique. It might just be the way the guy set his tools on the table, or the way that, one of the girls teaching the class handled something with the torch or something, like little mannerisms, where you're like, holy shit, that really helps my game out. So, yeah, can't stress enough. Classes. Good.
Yeah. Working with people and absorbing it. Be a sponge when you're in that studio. And yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Where do you get your inspiration and your creativity from?
I get it all over the place. I admittedly a lot from other artists. There's a lot of other artists I admire. Even though, like, we all know that biting work and trying to copy someone's exact designs is, frowned upon to a degree. Not as much these days, but if you really want to like make a name for yourself, you should try to avoid doing that. But I'll shamelessly screenshot other people's work all day long as just visual references for something that might spark my interest later on when I'm bored and I can't think of anything to make. So
yeah, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I do it the same, and that's how we all grow and build upon each other. Is I see something that you did and I kind of copy it or do something, and you can either get pissed or you can say, I'm crushing it. That guy copied me, or I inspired him. And I think that's how it should be looked at, is if you are copied, you're giving inspiration.
Absolutely. So yeah, I mean, I get a lot of my inspiration from other artists. But a lot of it is really just free form I mean, literally, I walk into the shop. I kick on Netflix or some music. Might smoke a little bit of herb. Well, probably not might. I will. And I just kind of, I usually just grab a color. Like, I'll just start with one color and be like, okay, this one caught my eye. And I'll just kind of start building a vessel, and then I'll look over and another color will just sort of catch my eye. And that's a lot of the way a lot of my projects are built. That being said, I fuck off a lot of my day not having those plans in place. So I'm not trying to do that as much anymore. Like, it was funner when I was younger and stuff. I'm 40 now, and I gotta manage my time. I can't just be sitting in the studio fucking off all day long. So yeah, I'm starting to pre-plan projects a little bit more these days. Sketch things out. Maybe I keep a schedule, ideas of, days I might try other things and whatnot. But honestly, for the most part, it's just completely free flowing,
just you coming out.
Basically, just start with the color. That's how I almost every project. I just start with the color.
Hell yeah. Do you have a preferred style or technique that you use a lot and you love? I'm gonna guess it's fume work and line work. Looking at your stuff.
Yeah. The horn stuff is probably my very favorite. I love pulling horns. I love making them as sharp as I can, but not too sharp, and as clean as I can. That's some of my favorite stuff to do. Lately, the line work has definitely been, something that's piqued my interest. I spent about 12 years not doing any of that stuff. So now that I'm kind of getting into it, I'm definitely enjoying my time with it.
Are you pulling your own line tubing, or do you buy?
No, I don't. I outsource it from all over the place. Mm-hmm. Golden Gate, I get a lot of it from, but these days, I would say 90% of my line work, it's going to come from the Colorado Color Company out of Fort Collins.
Yeah, they are killing it. They offer some great glass.
They're just killing. Killing it is just such an understatement. I mean, they're just coming up with colors and combos that nobody's done before, and it's exciting. And those motherfuckers are gonna make me broke, man. I just every week they're coming out with some new cool shit, and it just credit card keeps going down.
I feel you, man. I love the colors, and those guys. Every chunk I've gotten, the colors just fire, man.
It's perfect. I mean, the tubing is just, I just can't say good enough stuff about the product. So if anyone's listening and they haven't bought it yet and they're thinking about giving it a try, like it's just a no-brainer, man. You're going to love it.
Agreed. Have you had periods in your career where you shifted your focus entirely to a new thing? Like all you did was pendants and then all of a sudden you went to rigs or something, or have you just kind of flowed?
No, I've several of them, man. Even just quitting and leaving the game altogether.
Oh wow!
Periods. Yeah. So like in the very beginning years, around like 2001 to 2003, it was just like all pipes and pendants and stuff like that. And then I got a gig at the largest indoor water park in America. They might even boast like the world or something, but I'm not going to.
Is that the Wisconsin Dells?
Yeah, it was the Kalahari Resort. I used to blow glass inside of this indoor water park, man, and it was a trip. It was cool, but it was like a very corporate setting. You had to dress a certain way, talk a certain way, but I thought it was cool. And when I got that job, I thought I was going to be like the next great, art artist. Like I almost like looked down on pipes for a little while, like, oh, I'm going to do something better. And, I did that for maybe a year or two, and, came back to pipes. Honestly, I wasn't making enough money. I just like even with, thousands of people at my disposal to sell to inside of that water park, just selling little trinkets I just wasn't making it. And just kind of got back into pipes. And
but if you could have sold pipes in there back then, right? You
Yeah.
might have made the living.
Ironically enough, I actually was asked to leave my position there because the owner of the water park's son, who was kind of like a sub CEO of sorts, the way, I mean, at least that's how he walked around the place, kind of like he was a boss. But he pulled me aside one day when he saw me in one of the bars. I mean, there's like a whole bunch of bars inside this water park, and I was just having a drink at one, and he asked me if I'd make him a pipe, and I was like, yeah, man, after hours I can sneak a pipe out for you. And then after he commissioned me to do that, and I agreed to do it, he ratted me out to his own dad.
What a punk!
Got me canned. So I was a little upset about that. But
you did it after hours, even. Like,
yeah, I mean, I now realize my mistake was just doing it at all. I should have just used my head. But I was young and dumb, and like I wanted to impress this guy. I mean, this kid was like landing on the roof in helicopters every day and stuff to this like park. So like I thought he was just amazing. I was like, fuck yeah, dude, I'll do whatever you want. But then after I did, he turned on me.
What a loser! I gotta call him out on that.
Yeah. Man. Yeah. Oh well, what are you gonna do?
Oh, no, well, it's the past.
And, yeah. But yeah, man. And then there was a little bit of time around like 2010 where I just lost all passion for this game, and I just sold my torch and I stopped. I just couldn't do it anymore. It was just too hard, man. We didn't have the internet back then. I mean, obviously we had the internet in 2010, but
totally different.
Yeah, you had to sell on the road. And I mean, living in like Wisconsin, selling on the road, we only got so many smoke shops. I mean, you can drive 8, 10, 12 hours to go see one account, only get a few $100s. Then you got to drive all that way back. It was a really hard way to make a living. And it just took its toll on me, and I quit. And went and did flooring and some other just odd jobs for a couple of years, and then I had an internet gig going where I was. It's gonna sound shadier than it was, but I was reselling diabetic test strips on eBay. Basically, like diabetics that wouldn't use their test strips. Mm-hmm. They would sell them to me for cash. I would relist them on eBay, and then like other countries like would like buy them for like our full box price. I still don't know like how it all really was working out or whatever. I was just kind of introduced to this little like hustle business, and I started making so much money doing it that I was able to like quit my flooring job, and I was able to just like sort of sit around and I was bored. I didn't know what to do with my days, so I ended up just like, fuck, I know how to blow glass, so I bought another torch, and that was around like 2011, and now I've been back ever since.
Hell yeah!
But I took like a 2-year break in the middle of my career there. I just got burnt out.
Well, glad you're back, man, because your art's good, it's great, and we're here today. So, and you're doing what you love, so that's really awesome.
Thank you. And yeah, I mean, I didn't love it for a while then, but now I truly do have a passion for this. I do. I've realized this is what we're going to be doing.
Hell yeah, that's awesome. What are your favorite items to blow today?
My favorite items to blow today, I like. Oddly enough, I like making cups. I don't like making two of the same cup, as they never look the same. But I like making cups and vessels like that. Let me see here. I mean, I really enjoy making the rigs. I've gotten a little name lately for making recyclers and pushing recyclers, and that's been beautiful. Great. That being said, I don't love that work.
They're hard.
It's not only is it hard and a lot of work, but it's like, man, there's so many guys out there doing them so fucking good that it's hard. It's so hard to like I look at myself. There's some things I look at in my career and I say, one day I could be the best at this. When I look at recyclers, I don't necessarily think that. because I there's so many guys out there, man, that are so fucking good. And,
I mean, you got Eugene making these things, and it's like
yeah.
how do you compete with Eugene? Like the guy is out of control.
I mean, Eugene and like I mean, shit, man, I could just go down the list. There's so many guys. Every time I think I'm just banging it and doing like awesome recyclers and everything, so I look at some other guys where I'm like, holy shit, that whole thing is faceted, and man, it's just nuts. But I mean, I suppose that's good. You know, you just keep pushing stuff. But ironically enough, that's like a lot of my work is recyclers. But it's not exactly like my passion. I won't pass on the money though.
Absolutely.
You know, I got a family. I gotta be smart. But I really like making just, you know, I mean, it just changes, man, from day to day. Like I wouldn't say there's any one thing that I could ever just do all day, every day.
It's nice being able to change. And I think that's also the beauty of glasses. You're never stuck doing the same thing. It's a rabbit hole forever, and you can choose what you want to do that day.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, yeah, pick to choose whatever you want. I think that was important to me in a job because yeah, the repetitive, you know, it just wouldn't, I mean, I feel stupid saying stuff like that because what guy did want to do, you know, nobody wants to do repetitive work. Like it's, you know, whatever. But for me, it was just, I just couldn't do it, man. I just couldn't do it.
And even glass can be repetitive, but it's your repetitiveness that you
absolutely. Yeah, it can. No, even glass can become a normal job in a way where you don't, you know, it can be monotonous. Definitely, absolutely.
And pretty much anything where you make money at becomes monotonous because more people want it. And
true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is your favorite color to work with?
My favorite color to work with. Let's see here. I really like NS yellow from North Star. It's just like a transparent yellow, and you can get all sorts of shades out of it. But if you kiln the shit out of that stuff for like 2 full days at like about 50 degrees higher than you're supposed to run your kiln, it'll just do some fucked up stuff, man. I mean, purples and yellows and just. I mean, I get really like veteran artists where I'll show them things that I get out of my NS yellow applications, and they'll be like, how did you do that? And it's like, really, I didn't do anything special. I just burned the haze off of it at the end, and I let the kiln just go to town on it. But I would have to say that's one of my favorite colors to work with because it's cheap. And I don't mean just cheap for me. I like it to be cheap for my clients.
Right.
You know, I mean, when a color's $35 a pound compared to some of the buzzier colors that are $80 to $150,
$160 for some Molten Aura shit.
And don't get me wrong, those colors are fucking
beautiful.
Baller, man. They're awesome. But I mean, when a client, I mean, that all has to get passed on to somebody. So like, you know, if my client has a $400 budget for, let's say, a mini tube or a small recycler or something, and my color that I'm going to use is like $35 a pound, I can just go crazy. I can put the color all over the place. And so the cost, how easy it is to use. I mean, it's an idiot-proof color.
And when you know how to work it, it's very open color too.
Sure. Yeah. It's just, I mean, you can't really fuck it up. It's cheap. Customers love it. You get all sorts of different results. So it might not be the most exciting choice out there. But I'm going to go with NS Yellow, man. I buy that stuff every order I get.
You know, you're not the first person. I asked that question, and you're not the first person to say that's their favorite color. And so yeah. that shows that's a badass color, man.
It is. I mean, Abe nailed that one, as well as many others. But even more than just like picking a favorite color, I just like striking colors in general, man.
Agreed.
Any color that is gonna shift and do like, you know, it's not gonna, you know, just stay one solid color. And nothing against those. I love solid colors too, but striking colors are definitely where my passion is. So maybe even to go back to answer that, like, what's your favorite, glass blowing style or, whatever. I guess if I were to just re-answer that, I'd just say working with striking colors in general. I just can't get enough of that stuff. It's my favorite. And for newer glass blowers, I just recommend the hell out of those colors because you just really can't jack them up that much. So,
and it's affordable.
Exactly. Yeah, that's a big one. Yeah, affordable.
So what color do you not like at all? And you used it and you're like, dude, you keep that crap.
So I don't even know if it's the color they're going to go full-fledged forward with, but I bought one recently that looked really pretty called Orange Shades. Just kind of like a transparent bright orange. Ah, shit, that was a disaster.
But they didn't tell you it was bad, huh? They said, oh, it's going to be cool.
Yeah, well, and I mean, I don't blame my distributors because, well, all right. So like, here's the other thing, man. There's so many variations, right? Like, like torches. Like I'm working on a Bethlehem. They have a softer touch. So for all I know, maybe a GTT with a little more power might have maybe worked that color a little smoother. Maybe it wouldn't have. So that's something to always keep in mind when you're like slamming colors or like something particular. It's like, absolutely. Well, was it your own flame application? Was it how you work things? Because all right. So anyway, just to go back to that color, I got what I'm gonna pick. I'm just gonna pick black. I fucking hate working with blacks because I gray them out every single time.
Have you used Galaxy yet?
No, and I just saw it and
my fucking God, dude. It's good, and I fucking love it. It's got every sparkle color you could imagine in it. And check out the new North Star's Jet Blacks. They've done something to it along with, since they've partnered with Troutman. He's got a lot of shit, but that Galaxy, if it does a little gray out, you can oxidize it and it will come back black. And their Jet Blacks have been working out. I absolutely have almost switched all black to Galaxy because you get this extra sparkle.
So like that, thank you. I appreciate that tip because I'm always on the hunt for a good black. Lately, I've actually been using dark amethyst, which is just a really dark purple. And I bought some of that and I was planning on using it as a purple. But then after I made the vessel, I was like, shit, this is like the best black I've used in years. So I think I'm going to do that. But yeah, I'll check out that Galaxy. That sounds exciting. But yeah, man, I mean, black is a staple color. It gets asked for all the time. And it feels silly because I've been doing this for like 20 years. So then when someone asks for black and I start hemming and hawing about how it's hard, they're sitting here thinking, well, what the fuck, man? That doesn't, it's black. It's, but it's like, I fuck that color up every time. I have no idea. It always looks pretty in the beginning, turns gray in the end.
I do the same too, so I agree with you. Black is a bit.
What type of torch do you work on?
It's a GTT. So
nice.
It just has to do, I think, with the color. But they have improved it. So
good. I'm gonna. That's good to know. I'll have to retry Jet Black, and I'll have to give that Galaxy a try because I spotted that the other day. It looked interesting, and I just didn't know enough about it to pull the trigger.
I absolutely love it. What's the most difficult piece you've ever attempted?
The most difficult piece? Well. Recently I idiotically told a guy that I'd make a quad uptake recycler for him. I'd never tried one in my life, but I was sitting there thinking, oh, well, how hard can it be? It's just 2 more of those uptakey thingies, fucking simple. But I work by hand. I don't have a lathe. So about halfway into the project, I was like, what the fuck did you do? Why did you tell that guy that you could make that? Because fuck, this is going to be really hard. So,
do you find the symmetry is so hard to do that, or
it was a few things. For one, I didn't just think about all the extra weight. I didn't think about all the little like micro welding in between the uptake arms. Let's see here, like fuck, man, you name it. I didn't think about it. I just arrogantly thought, hey, yeah, dude, I can do that. And I learned right away that wasn't smart. So recently I tried one. So hats off to any of those guys making those quad uptake recyclers and making them look clean. fucking well done, gentlemen, because that is a
Agreed.
lot of work. And yeah, that was probably one of the harder things I've done. Trying to make like things like 2 cups that look the same.
Almost
I can't do
impossible.
that stuff. I can't do that stuff. I can't even get in the ballpark. Like I know most guys can at least get within like 10%, so it doesn't really notice. I straight up just tell people I can't even come close to doing 2 that are the same. I don't know why. I just can't.
Yeah, and that's all right. I can't either. So some people are good at that, and that's where they
Yeah,
excel.
I mean, shit. Some people are just amazing, but that's something that I really want to evolve into is cup making. I've really enjoyed it, and I'm seeing it take off. You know, back in the day when you made a really nice couple $100 cup, it was really hard to get paid out on something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Nowadays, people see the beauty in those, and they like being able to display them in their houses. Not that you can't display your rig or anything, but let's just face it, not everybody wants to do that. You know, and yeah, I don't know. So that stuff's been pretty, fun lately.
Hell yeah. I
love that glass. I don't mean to cut you off, but is that glass on your table? That's one of those glasses that rolls a little bit, right?
Yeah,
is that what that is?
Yeah,
dude, I fucking love those things. So like, remember how I said earlier I screenshot shit all the time?
Yeah.
I got a random ad for one of those like a week or two ago, and I immediately screenshotted that thing. I was like, dude, that's fucking cool. I really like that.
I came up with this idea, and I didn't come up with it, obviously. I thought I did, and then I go look out there and I see it all over. I'm like, again, it's so hard to make anything that hasn't been thought before. You can only kind of tweak it a little bit.
Well, you made that one on the table there?
Yeah.
Dude, that's sick. I love that piece. I'm assuming that's experimental green.
No, just fume work.
Oh, really?
Just fume. Just that green.
Yeah, just from my camera angle, it sort of looks like it has that bluish green. But that's fucking
fume
cool,
on.
I like that a lot.
Fume on cobalt blue glass, China cobalt. It's affordable. China cobalt, it never grays out on you. It's safe. I don't hate on Chinese glass. I use what's best.
Yeah, no, it's Chinese cobalt has had its place in the industry for a long time. I still manage to gray it out sometimes. I don't know how. I think Bethlehem's like, I just cannot stress this enough. They just work so softly. Mm-hmm. And I'm actually, and this that's no disrespect to Bethlehem. I love their torches. I've worked on them for 20 years, and I'll probably always keep a Bethlehem in house. But I am in the process of picking up a Kabuki. I wanna make the jump over to GTT because I don't know, man. My friends have been hammered me for 15 years about making the jump, and I've always been a Bethlehem guy, but there's just some things that those GTT torches, like, I can just tell that they're gonna help me save money. They're fast time.
Dude, I am such a GTT. I think I own 16 GTT torches in my studio.
Holy shit!
Yeah, and so when we pull color, and I had GTT Delta and Carlisle C++ going at the same time. I upgraded to one Phantom, and I cut about an hour of my time off, and my amount of propane and oxygen has gone way down. Whatever they've done to figure out how to get maximum heat out of it is phenomenal. So people say, oh, it gets too hot. Man, you can always turn it down. You can work further out in the flame. Yep. You can't never get more heat on something else. So I'm a GTT fan.
I agree. And I was always concerned that I would lose my fume colors on one, that I wouldn't be able to, that I just wouldn't be able to find them again. But I mean, you just look at all those guys out there that fume on their GTTs that are just fucking phenomenal. I mean, just countless guys. It's definitely, it's like, yeah, my fume might take a hit for a while, but like, I can find those colors again. And,
absolutely. Because what it is.
Yeah, but like the thick stuff, like I don't particularly like making papes anymore. The big thick hand pipes that I like. I've kind of got a little bit of a name for making those.
They're beautiful.
And it's not that they're like above me anymore, but they hurt my wrist. I've been making them for like 17 years. There's so many rotations making those things. I mean, they start to really, there's a pain that just happens in my wrist that starts to sting and doesn't go away sometimes for weeks when I make those things. So it's almost just becoming a health thing. Like I got to stop making them. But that being said, one of my homies was like, hey, why don't you try making one on my GTT a few months back? And I did, and I'll be damned if I didn't probably cut 15 minutes off the time. That right there, I was like, holy shit, man. I wonder.
And
I
time
started
is money.
doing all the math. I was like, that's phenomenal. So, yeah, GTTs are banging, man. They're cool torches. And I think I'm going to have to jump on board pretty quick here.
Yeah. So do you collaborate often?
No, I don't. So the name of my game is I price glass, whatever I have to move it very quickly. It's always been my sales tactic. You know, I'll make something one day and decide it's worth $600. And if nobody really inquires about that piece over the course of 48 hours, I will not hold that piece for $600. I'll immediately start knocking significant amounts of money off until we find a buyer for that project. So it's not uncommon for me to post something for $750 and then let it go for $500 the next day, or even $400 a week later, if that's what it takes to get the art moving. Right. That's always been my tactic. Now, that does not work with a lot of my colleagues. A lot of glassblowers do not see that being a smart way to move work. And I feel what they mean. I understand that, you know, holding out for more money. I definitely get that. That's just never going to be how I see it. How I see it is, let's get that art out there. Let's get it moving. More people are going to see it. More business is going to come. And, you know, maybe some guy will get hooked up on a piece that could have been more money. He'll tell that story over and over again. He or she, it's, you know, that's always been my, you know, my thing, man. Let's move art fast. And absolutely, when you collaborate, I now have to let somebody else in on my sales tactics. Negotiating numbers is a big part of my sales tactics. I have to let a third party in on what I'm about to say or do. I've sold collabs before for a few $100s off, which was very acceptable for the high dollar we were asking. And then I've had the other guy get upset, and I you know, and that's okay. I mean, you know, whatever. Maybe I should have, you know,
piece is sold though, right?
Exactly. But that's the thing. I'm sitting there just like, man, we sold it and we made all this money, but I still see disappointment in other people, and I'm just like, fuck, that sucks. Yeah. So the biggest reason I don't do a lot of collabs is the sales aspect of it. Okay. Really, I would almost actually say that's the only thing is when it comes down to the sales. I like to push it, you know. I don't want to say cheap, but I never hold on. You don't want to sit on it,
right? Yeah, exactly. Because if you're sitting on it, it's not making you any money. You got family to feed. Like you're living the real world. And so there's two things too, right? Sometimes people that are very comfortable for whatever reason, they can sit on shit a lot longer. People that gotta fucking eat, they gotta get that. They gotta turn and burn it and go and get that food.
Yeah, and I mean, I would say that even in the glassblowing world, even a lot of the guys that need to eat still won't sell the piece for what they need to eat. They still want to hold out for what they determined it was worth the day they made it. And believe me, I understand that feeling. I know what it's like to put a few days of work into something, love, sweat, tears, hundreds of dollars in material, and then have the public turn around and say, I'm not, I can't. Like, it does hurt, but to me, man, I like to get my art out there. I don't like anything to sit around for very long. So really, that's one of the only reasons I'm not a big collaboration guy. Also, when like I'm in Wisconsin now. When I lived in Fort Collins, shit, man, you could just throw a rock and hit a glass blower.
Yeah.
So it was like, it was really easy to just hang out at people's garages and collaborate. Not now where I'm at, we got to do stuff by mail for the most part and stuff like that. But I mentioned him earlier. I can't remember what for, but Noah Moo Glass out of Fort Collins. He's just a good buddy of mine, and he's one of the only guys I collaborate with anymore because we're just really like-minded. If I want to dump something because I feel like this is the price we need to dump it for, he never complains. He never bothers about it. Same thing with him. So we just got an even mindset, and I like collaborating with that guy specifically because of that.
Hell yeah.
You know, I can trust him. I trust him entirely. But that being said, you know, I'm not opposed to doing more collabs in the future and you know, and all that stuff, but it's just never been that appealing to me.
Hell yeah.
Maybe it will in the future. You know, there's a lot of shit that I said 7 years ago, 8 years ago, 10 years ago that I would never do. And I do it every day now, you know?
Well, and that's the, you know, every day people be like, oh, you changed your mind. You fucking flip flop. No. I changed my view because I gained new information and had to readjust. And so every day we got to, you know, I couldn't expect anybody to have the same mind thought. Like, that's stupid, I think. So.
Yeah, it's exactly. I mean, I change my mind all the time, man. And I always tell people there's nothing wrong with that. You can, you know, I'll shun a technique one year and then go hard on it the next year. And, you know, or I'll see somebody sculpting a certain technique and I'll be like, I'll never do that type of work. And then, you know, 2 years later, it's all I want to do. So now I just kind of say never say never. Everything's out on the table. I will say this though. I once took a Yushin flip class, you know, to do his flip discs. About 1 hour into that class, I turned to my buddy and said, I ain't doing this shit. It was too much work, man. That intricate drawing stuff. Oh, hats off to those people. Seriously. Like that Windstar girl.
She is crushing it. Yeah.
Dude, how the fuck is she drawing that shit? And I look at those little tiny little stringers and I'm just like, how the fuck are you guys doing all that? I mean, wow. But yeah, I took a Yushin class once. I saw him pulling out all those little stringers, doing all that intricate geo work. And I was just like, nope, that's not for me, man. It's not for me. So, yeah, but hey, maybe one day, man, maybe one day.
Hell yeah. What's the most amount of time that you've ever put into a piece?
The most amount of time I ever put into a piece on purpose?
But yeah.
Accidentally, I've had them go for days. But you know, I would say 48 hours, man. You know, like I'm a good glassblower. I'm good at what I do and I get paid well for what I do, but I don't make insane amounts of money like some of my colleagues do, you know? So, you know, for me, like, you know, I might sell 10 pieces a year that are in that $1,000 range, or maybe they might even breach that dollar amount a little bit. But I sell, you know, 200 pieces that are in the $500 to $800 range. So like there's a cap for me, you know, and I have to ask myself, how many days do I want to put into this? Am I actually going to get paid for it? Will anyone want to pay me for this amount of work? So, you know, if I was getting some of that, you know, let's just say top 100 glassblower type of money, you know, then I would love to spend a week on stuff. You know, I'd love to spend like 4 or 5 days just making a little slide or something, you know, just you know, really balling out. But I'm not there yet financially. Like nobody invests that much yet into my work. So I got to cap it off at a couple of days, and I got to, you know, I got to make limits.
I'm right there with you. You know, I find that 500 to the 8, you know, 400 to 800 is a piece that can move in a fair amount of time.
And even those aren't like everyday sales, you know, like if we wanted to get more into the everyday numbers, even more like 250, you know, 150 to 250, those are even better numbers. But that being said, man, I sold my first piece, like my first couple of pieces for over $1,000, like maybe 2 years ago. And that, that had never happened before. And it was just like, holy shit, let's throw a pizza party. And now it still doesn't happen every day, but it happens more often. And it seems to be going that way. So, I mean, I guess it's moving up. I don't mind moving slowly. I don't mind, just getting like 50 or 100 more bucks per project every year. Like I'm okay with that.
Sometimes it's that slow nickel over the fast quarter, so
yeah, I mean, it's yeah, but I'm just happy to get what I get, man. I'm happy to get any amount of, work sometimes from my art. Sometimes it just blows my mind that I'm making anything at all. And that, I'm just like, it feels so cliche to just keep saying shit like, oh, I'm blessed, like, I mean, you just see that everywhere, but it's like, fuck, man, I really do feel blessed. And yeah, just can't be thankful enough to the people that support my shit.
Yeah.
So the people and the shops, all that stuff.
Agreed.
Hell yeah.
Have you ever competed in any events?
No, I've done a bunch of demos. I know it's not the same thing. I've just done like live demos for smoke shops and stuff like that. But no, I've never competed in any of the events. Like I'm going to try to word this so I don't sound like an asshole. I'm going to sound like an asshole anyway. I'm sure of it. I never went to those shows because I never had trouble selling work. I was always able to push work really, really quick. Now, that being said, I've also seen the error in that way of thinking. Because you go to those shows, you make connections, you make friendships, you make business connections that can last decades. The things you learn when you're at those events. Long story short, I wish I would have went to more, glass blowing events and mingled more with, other people and kind of, done that stuff. That was a regret, well, it's not like it's over. I mean, I can still go do that shit. And I plan to, but no, I've never really went to the events just because I never thought I needed to like be there. I guess I just thought I was like too cool, or I don't know, whatever. Man. I'm not really sure.
No, you were busy. You were busy in your own world, making cash. Making shit.
I was busy, but at the same time, I'm not gonna act like I'm not antisocial, because I am. I'm not always the easiest guy to get along with. I've got opinions, and I don't always keep them to myself when I should. And
I think that's the way it should be. I don't think. Something is wrong where if you say something and somebody's offended, let me know. That way I can grow. But don't hate me for offending you. Let me speak free. It's the first fucking amendment.
No, and I totally agree with that. Like, at the same time, there can be like a fine line between being an authentic person, who's real all the time, and then just being an asshole because you're too real. And sometimes I blur that line, where it's just like, oh, I'm so, for me, like, not being honest is a slippery slope with me. Like, I can slip into like a scummy lying type of person really quick. So I'm like really honest with everybody, because like, it's kind of the way I have to be. If something's on my mind or whatever, I just spit it out. And like, I got friends that think I'm a little intense, they'll be like, man, every little issue you have, you bring it up. And it's like, well, that's why we're going to always be friends, because I'm always going to bring it up and it's never going to bother me. And I'm going to go to sleep, knowing that, whatever is resolved. But yeah, man, like I said, I'm not always the most social person, and hey, you're a fellow glassblower, you're in the business, so you know what it's like dealing with a lot of the people that we're affiliated with. A lot of them are egocentrical maniacs. We deal with a lot of I mean great people too. I mean all kinds of great people. And shit, man, even the egomaniacs are like brilliant in their own rights. But like, if you hang out with enough glassblowers, you'll get miffed over like hanging out with glassblowers. Like it gets hard, man.
Absolutely. I'd say we are a special breed. There's no doubt.
We really are, and I've come to find out we're also like if you tell these stories to like musicians and shit, they're like the same thing. They all like talk shit about each other, and
it's that creative thing. It's that artistry. Yeah. It goes back to, I think, why you said you weren't doing well in school, because schools aren't built around the creativeness. It's about stamping out robots. So sure. You're not going to fit into school when you're like, I'm a creative and I need to be a fucking robot. So that's our education system that has a problem there. Because people like you and all the musicians and other artists, we need to find a way to make us good in school too, because you're just as good as the guy getting good grades. It's just doing different things,
Yeah, I also think I think in order to like walk away from the regular world of 9-to-5 jobs, guaranteed paychecks and all, and insurance and vacations and all that stuff, you have to be like a degree of like fucking crazy, like and I don't mean to discourage anybody by saying what I'm about to say, but I wouldn't do this again. I'm 20 years into this, so I'm committed. This is my job now. This is what I do. But if I started over, I wouldn't do this again. If I didn't have a family, if I would have stayed, single without kids, maybe I'd do it again. Mm-hmm. But with a family, fuck, man, I put everyone through some hard times because of my choice of job and stuff like that. So I think in order to be like a musician, a painter, a glassblower, or anything like that, you have to have a degree of something fucked up with you that just says like, man, I'm gonna make my life really fucking hard. and then like, and like, so it's funny, like, I'm probably just rambling off now, but I see friends with regular jobs. Yeah. I see friends with regular jobs that like, they think I've got it made. And I'm just sitting here thinking, dude, you got a week paid vacation and health insurance. You got it fucking made, dude. I to a degree, I admire that. I wish I had that.
The grass is always greener, right?
It is. It really is. But then, there's, I'm not going to get into, there's so many pros to this life too, but definitely some downsides and yeah, man.
Like Frank said, you did it your way though.
Sure. Yeah. I did do it my way, and it does seem to be working out, but like I'll like, I've got 2 kids and I'll like joke around with them. I'll be like, hey, if you guys ever want to start blowing glass, or you want me to pick you up a torch or something. And then I start thinking about it, and then I'm like, man, do I really want to even bring them into this shit? Like, would I want them to go through the hardships that we did? And, and then I also think, well, I could help get them past that, because I lived it. So, but then we all know that not everybody listens to the elders, like how, I never did. People tried to school me in the ways, and I didn't fucking listen. I had to do it myself. So yeah. Oh man, it's a weird trade. It's, but I love it. I love the people I've met, and definitely just, I'm happy to be here, but I wouldn't do it again. I probably would. I don't know what I would do. I would just do something different. Right.
That's neat, man. But you still have more passion, from what I heard today, than you did at other times throughout your career.
100%. And I mean, like, this is just kind of obvious, but like a lot of it just came when I actually started just getting a little recognition for my work. Like it's really discouraging putting your heart and soul into things and then having it not work out. And like sales wise. So like man, I hate and I love Instagram. I hate and I love it because. Yeah. I love it because it's brought me more freedom and connections, and it's put my work out there more than I could have ever imagined, in the beginning of my career. But at the same time, it's, I feel like a slave to that thing, when it chimes and just like how many times a day I check it, and like, fuck it. I actually had to buy one of those like phone safes. I've got this digital safe by my bench where I put my phone in there, and I. So you ignore it? Yeah, I choose how many hours I want to put it in there for, and then it just locks it up. And but it's like I'm sitting here like, man, you're a 40-year-old man and you can't fucking you can't just stop touching your phone and stuff. That's
No, but you did.
fucking,
You found what works for you, and so that's what everybody needs to figure out is like, if you can't do it this way, you try something else. And you figured it out. I need to stay off
Sure.
this fucking shit, so I'm going to set this up a trigger for me. That's brilliant, man.
Well, thanks. I wish I could. I stole it off of like a Netflix documentary. It was like the social dilemma on Netflix. I saw that they had one of those phone safes for like their family mealtime thing, and I was like, shit, man, I think I'm gonna get one of those. And it's actually funny when I put that phone in that safe, how relieved I feel when it locks. It's bizarre, man. It's like, it lets me know my level of addiction to like what to this world. But
this is, you're like, I don't mean to cut you off, but this is something that I am learning from this, and I can almost guarantee you I'm gonna go get one of these safes and try that, because the same thing you're picking up.
Amazon for like
fuck that
bucks.
shit. I love it.
It's yeah, man, I definitely recommend them. I've been recommending them to people all over the place, and I mean, it's kind of cool too. You can like put your weed in it, you know, if like you smoke a little too much weed at work. Like sometimes I go a little overboard, so
yeah,
I'll be like, oh, okay, well I can have this one. I can have my phone in 4 hours, type of thing. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Well, I guess I gotta ask, what can we look forward from you in the future?
In the future, man. So a few things we're gonna start doing here in the future. I've never done the live glass blowing thing, like the Instagram live stuff. I've never done that before. We're gonna start introducing that soon.
Hell yeah.
Hopefully we're not too late to that, you know, to that thing. But that's something we want to do sooner rather than later. I'm just about to get into sandblasting glass. I just purchased when my Joe Peters class got canceled, I was left with some extra funds in my account, so I went out and got a nice cabinet and a compressor. I'm going to start adding some sandblasted stuff to my line, which I'm pretty excited about. I've never done that before, and that should be pretty cool. Other than that, man, I'm just on the search for more classes. That's something I really want to do. You know, I mean, I've been blowing glass for 20 years, man, and I know a lot. You know, I teach classes myself, but I want to learn some stuff from some other guys. Sculpting, you know, that's a big one. I want to get, you know, into some serious sculpting and play around with that stuff. There's just no limits. Just, you know,
glass, it's just a damn rabbit hole that if you want, it'll just engulf your entire life.
Yeah, exactly. If I'm able to pick up this that GTT Kabuki here in the next couple of months, that could be exciting. That could lead to some bigger vessels, maybe some, you know, new interesting thick inside out work that I'm not able to achieve right now. But one thing's for sure, we're definitely just gonna you know, I've learned you can't get too stale. You know, you know, there's times where like social networking algorithms, I've kind of blamed them for lack of like, you know, engagement and stuff. And then I've started to realize, like, is it that, or are you just putting out the same shit over and over again? People are getting a little sick of it, you know? And so I don't want to be one of those guys. I want to make sure we keep coming up with new, interesting things. And yeah, man, it's going to be wild. We got hopefully some cool stuff coming.
Hell yeah. What do you want to give out, any shout outs to anybody that's helped you out, get you to where you're at today? And
yeah, man. Well, like we plugged earlier, those boys at the Colorado Color Company, Ben, Sam, I know they got a couple employees too. Their material is just excellent, man. I wish I could take credit for 100% of the love I get on some of the products where I use their stuff. But I mean, those colors are just, you know, people fucking love them, man. That's cool. Lampwork Supply, that's where I get almost all of my colors those guys are just freaking awesome, man. Shit, free shipping on all American made glass over $200. I mean, just a phenomenally great company.
Yeah.
I used to make my runs to DNL, in Denver there when I lived in Colorado. It's just amazing. In fact, it was one of the reasons why I almost didn't move was I just kept thinking about what it was going to be like to lose that.
Yeah. Yeah.
That ability to just go pick things up. And Wisconsin, we have to ship everything here. And, when you're shipping 1,000 pounds of glass, it's money. So, it was kind of nice to have that, but man, like, I wouldn't specifically say I have anyone to shout out to. I mean, everyone's just crushing it right now, man. There's just so many phenomenal glass blowers out there doing things I didn't ever think was possible. Each day I see something new where I'm just like, fuck, man, I didn't even know we could do that. And
I love it.
I mean, it's just great. It just keeps pushing the bar. Every day I see more amazing work where I'm just like, shit, man, I gotta step it up so I can be, up there with these guys. And
no pressure, no diamonds, right?
yeah. Otherwise, shout out wise, I would just have to do the cliche family thing, man, because they have put up with a lot of long hours, a lot of brokenness, a lot of bullshit over the last 2 decades, and they've for the most part stuck by me on that one, that's, I mean, without that it wouldn't have been possible. But I will say this for anybody listening, if you got kids, if you got a wife, if you got, a family to take care of, definitely consider how hard you dive into this job. It's going to be hard on everybody.
One thing, looking back at a 40, I'm 43 myself, and looking back, and I will say it, if I had to do it again, I probably might join the military for 4 years, get my medical care for the rest of my life, or not but somehow in there, or some city job or something. Like, it's crazy, if you're having the family thing. But yeah. I don't have kids, so the adventure is crazy too. So really, like you said, it's neat though, and it's great that you've had the family to stick around you through this adventure, and because glassblowing is fucking hard.
Yeah, man, it's definitely hard. But I mean, yeah, I love it. I'm glad that I'm here. And at the same time, don't get me wrong, I don't want anyone to think I'm, trying to tell everyone not to go be a glass blower or whatever. I mean, you got to follow your dreams. You got to try what you want to try. You can always quit, man. You can always start something and sell your equipment later if it doesn't work out, or whatever. Although most glass blowers I know just run their shit into the ground. Most of them don't get out when they should, and that's for a magnitude of reasons. But yeah, man, I like to steal this saying from Doyle Brunson, a famous poker player. Glass blowing is it's a hard way to make an easy living. and that's what he always said about poker. He always said poker is a hard way to make an easy living. And I was just like, man, that really does apply to what we do, because it's a hard way to make an easy living.
It is. Well, I think we'll end it with that. That was awesome. Like the best way. Thank you, Boro Mojo. And I want to tell everybody, please go follow Boro Mojo. Glass is phenomenal. And yeah, hell yeah. Thank you so much for your time today.
Totally my pleasure, man. Thank you so much.
All right. Have a great one. All right, y'all. That was a really cool interview with Boro Mojo. Please go follow him. His stuff is amazing. And as you've seen, the dude is really cool, humble, and man, just a really great conversation. I love that. It was awesome. I want to throw this out there. If you need to throw some money out there, we have a 501c3. You can throw it at Elev8 veterans. And what do you get when you throw them their money? You get to give some veterans some glassblowing classes, or you can get them, if they're looking for it, they can get a surfer, which offers higher bioavailability over smoking, as well as helps to just really reduce the tars and carcinogens. It's just a better way to consume. And another thing as well, I want to throw this out there. We got Elev8 dolls. It's our brand ambassador program. Super awesome. Go check it out at elev8dolls.com. And anyways, Elev8, mind, body, spirit, y'all.